So in today's video, I have a Tupelo traditional mead recipe that I've altered slightly by putting powdered wine tannin in one of them and put black tea in the other. Now, I will say that these two recipes are slightly different, like I just said. I'll put both of them up. They are the same ABV and the same final gravity. So this is iteration 1. The start, and of course I'll show some video as I'm talking about all this stuff, but iteration number 1 was the following recipe, and it started at 1.102, ended at 1.000, and I backsweetened it to 1.012. This one had powdered wine tannin in it, and when I finished this video, I was like, well, what happens if instead of using powdered wine tannin, I go ahead and try tea as the tannin? So that's what I did over here. This recipe included 3 cups of black tea instead of the powdered wine tannin. And then of course the same amount of honey, the same amount of yeast, the same starting gravity, all of those things. And I actually added a little bit of lemon juice in there to, part of that was to see if I could balance acidity what that would do. So, almost identical recipes, the tannins are what are different. Let's talk about what they taste like, because obviously there's going to be a difference. They look very different, and I'll show some video. The first one, when I put the powdered wine tannin in, I actually put it into the post-fermentation stage because I noticed the mead needed a little tannic help, and so that's what I did. I added the powdered wine tannin in, and it cleared it up really quickly, and that was super interesting to me because this thing, I just moved it a few minutes ago, so it's kind of murky again, but it's very clear. This one started out with everything in it to start with. So it had all of the tea, all of the lemon juice, and everything in it. I didn't do any tannin adjusting in the post-fermentation stage. Anyways, enough talk. Let's go ahead and taste test them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the powdered wine tannin version. I should also say, these have a difference in age. This is 4.5 months old. This is 2 months old. So there is going to be a little bit of an unfair competition in that regard, but I can get a semi-close taste test. Yeah, this one has really mellowed out. The alcohol heat is gone. It does have the presence of those tannins is more juice-esque. It definitely clings to your mouth, but it's not like pulling the moisture out in like a aggressive way. It's pretty light, pretty tame. The sweetness on both of these, being 1.012 for the final gravity, is really nice, actually. It's that perfect level of sweetness. The Tupelo honey is really nice. Yeah, I really like the smoothness, the roundness of this body on this one. I was fascinated by how the wine tannin cleared up the mead and really pronounced the sweetness. It kind of took away the edge of taking out some of that yeasty taste helps, but it took out some edge and kind of helped round out the sweetness that was there, the perceived sweetness, and then when I backsweetened, it was just even stronger, even nicer. Okay, so this one's really good. Let's compare to our second one. Black tea, same honey, same yeast, all that stuff. Yeah, this one's much more jagged, much sharper aroma-wise. It has a more acidic aroma. Yeah, this one, I don't know why it's not clearing very well. This has been 2 months. I haven't done anything to help it clear, but this one naturally cleared a little bit by this point. This one has just been chilling like this, so that's kind of unfortunate. It does have this like bright sharpness to it, and again, I did throw everything in the beginning, so maybe the fermentation, the yeast had a different struggle, air quote, with the fermentation. I will say though, the tannic value of it is nice. Now, it coats your mouth more, it pulls more moisture out, it clings a little more than this one. This one kind of goes down smoother, this one kind of rattles around and fist fights some before it kind of naturally goes down the palate. The more I drink this one, it's nicer. It's definitely brighter, it's not very mellow, and you taste the heat. The heat is something that will fade over time. Brightness will fade a little bit over time. It doesn't have a big yeasty taste to it, which is nice. It just has I don't know. I think the type of tea you use, of course, changes the flavor profile. This being black tea, we're getting more citrusy, kind of a citrusy, roasty, like weird word, but leathery kind of taste to it as well. And I find that kind of odd. Now, could I have oversteeped the tea and then brought out different things? Yes, but I don't think I did in this case. Hopefully not. Yeah, it's pretty good. They're just super different. And my point of this video is that this is, quote, a natural tannin, being that it's black tea. This one is, air quote, unnatural because it's a powdered form. However, it's still natural because they take the powdered wine tannin from the grape skins, like whatever we call, dehydrated them and chop them up. So it is a natural form. It just comes in a powder, and some people don't like using powders. So this tea is your natural, air quote, natural way to do it. I do believe I put maybe just a hint too much of lemon juice in this because that bite seems like a lemon juice thing to me. But this one does have a more bright, it brings out a different part of the Tupelo honey than this one. This is bringing out the dark notes of the Tupelo. This is bringing out bright notes of the Tupelo. So regardless, Tupelo honey is really nice, and I would highly recommend you to get some if you can. It's totally up to you on how you want to use your wine tannin. If you want to add tannic value through tea, if you want to add it through oaking, if you want to add it through powdered forms. The biggest difference that I've noticed here, or a couple of differences rather, the powdered wine tannin actually helped clear the mead out, which I thought was interesting, and it helped to round out some sharp things, sharp tastes. So I thought that was nice. I think that's just a tannic value in general. The tea, because it provides taste, of course, and some tannin, gives a more bright note, and depending on your tea, of course, you're gonna get different things, but it did not aid in the clarity, which I didn't expect it to exactly, but it definitely added a different flavor profile. If I were to pick the two of these, I much prefer this one because it is a more true, round, warm honey character. If I'm gonna give one of these glasses to a friend, I'm gonna give this one because I think it's a more true form of mead that I would want to present to them. Now, this is not bad, but it's just not as good as this. When I recreate this recipe, which I like to do, I will be going with the powdered wine tannin. Could I experiment more with black tea? Yes, but I don't really plan on it. So this has been a short, kind of quick video. I've made a lot of traditional meads. If you want to know how a traditional mead is made exactly, I've got multiple recipes on the channel, but I wanted to do an A/B test of powdered wine tannin versus tea tannin. And again, I'm a bigger fan of the powdered wine tannin over this in this case. Each recipe could change. You might like tea more in a specific recipe, that's up to you. And I've used tea as tannin in many recipes and had great results, so I'm not putting that down, just in this case. So that's been powdered wine tannin versus tea for tannin. This could go a million different ways. I could start doing A/B tests of what happens when you use this kind of oak versus this oak. And maybe I'll get there. But what I would love for you to do is leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Do you like using powdered wine tannin over tea, or do you like using some other tannin source? Tannin is very, very, very important for your mead. A mead without tannic value is missing like the three-dimensional side. You kind of have a 2D mead. You want a 3D mead that can really create a greater experience for the person drinking it. So that's that. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you'll tune in for some more videos in the future. I'll see you next time. Cheers.